I bow to all the seekers of truth. I was very happy to learn that in Fremantle there are many seekers of truth. Maybe the blessings of the sea and the expanse gives rise to the curiosities to know what is beyond. And the time has come today, I think, that we are trying to find out what is beyond this human awareness, what is beyond human endeavor. Is it all a fruitless life? So many questions are peeping in. That's why I call it a blossom time, because there were never so many seekers in the world before as there are today. Of course, in ignorance, they might be misled into wrong paths, and they might be completely disillusioned as well. But whatever may be, truth exists, it is there. And to find it out should be the easiest thing for us. It should not be difficult, because it is so vital and so important. Whatever is vital has to be very simple, and so we call it Sahaja. Sahaja also means spontaneous. It means born with you. It's the spontaneous happening of this living process within you of sprouting the Kundalini, just like a seed sprouts when you put it in the Mother Earth. You can't pay for it, first of all. No, you can't. You can't have a course in it. It's not mental. It's something that is inside. Anything that says that by paying you can purchase God or gurus, then know that they are not anywhere near divinity. They have nothing to do with God. Because God doesn't understand money at all. He can only understand love and genuineness within you. So now we come to this subtle system that exists within us. I hope you are listening to me. Can you hear me? This subtle system that exists within us has been known to many people since long, but was kept a secret. I would say there were very few flowers on the tree of life at that time. And as I said, this is the blossom time. And many people have to have their realization. So this is the breakthrough into the evolutionary process. As you are a human being, you have to just have a little more jump to get to that point where you become the spirit. It is your own. All the system belongs to you, is within you. Only thing that one enlightened candle can enlighten another candle. That's how it works out. But there's no obligation. It's just we can say a triggering or like a catalyst it works. Now in this system, yesterday I was telling you about, is there are 3 type of channels you can see clearly. Have you talked about that to them? No. Now these channels are, the first one is the left side channel, which supplies to the left side sympathetic nervous system. But in Sanskrit language, it is called as the Ida Nadi. Also, it is called as the moon channel. Is the left side which caters to your subconscious mind and to your collective subconscious. On the right hand side, there's another area which we can call it as the one which nourishes the right sympathetic nervous system. This one is for your future. So we can say that the left one is the one which emits the power of desire, and the right one emits the power of action through your physical and mental being. So we have these two sympathetic nervous systems within us. In the center is the parasympathetic nervous system, which in Sanskrit called as the Sushumna Nadi. So the left is the Ida Nadi, which is the moon channel. Left, right is the Pingala Nadi, which is the sun's channel. And the central one is the Sushumna Nadi, through which we have now come to this stage of human awareness. From amoeba to this stage we have arrived through this system of parasympathetic activity. And whatever we have achieved through our evolution, we can feel it on our central nervous system. For example, if you have some dog or or an animal, a horse, it can pass through any dirty lane. It doesn't see the beauty of a building. It just goes through. But it's only a human being can feel the filth and the dirt and also the beauty. So in our awareness, we have achieved a lot, but still there's something more we have to achieve, and that achievement is the absolute truth. So far, whatever truth we have is all relative. We are finding this is nice, somebody says this is very nice, somebody says that's very nice. Somebody says communism is good, somebody says capitalism is good, somebody says this religion is good, somebody says that religion is good. It's all relative terminology. There's nothing absolute about it. So whatever is absolute, we have to know on our central nervous system. That's what is called as Bodha in the Buddha religion, and as Veda in the Vedas. Also, what the early Christians called themselves as Gnostic. Gna, the word Gna comes from the word Gna. Gna. Some people call it Jnana, some people call it Jnana. So the Gna, from the Gna means the one who has known on the central nervous system, not mentally, not reading something. It is something that you have to know on your central nervous system. And what do you have to know is the all-pervading power which is described by all the saints, prophets, and all the incarnations. You have to feel that subtle power which works out all that is living. We cannot explain how it works out. A little seed sprouts, becomes a big tree, and the tree bears so many seeds, which has so many trees. So the one little seed has all the maps of all the progeny it is going to produce. It's a tremendous thing. And this infinity, all that is built in one little seed, is like something is beyond our imagination, beyond our understanding. In the same way, within us lies this very subtle system which works out the last ascent. There's the power, as he must have told you, is the triangular bone called as sacrum, called as Kundalini. The other day somebody asked me the question that people say the Kundalini awakening is a very dangerous thing. It's not at all, because Kundalini is your pure desire. So now we have three powers. As I told you, the first power we have is the power of desire, ordinary desire. Now, desire is never fulfilled in general, is a principle of economics, as you know, that in general is never satiable. Supposing today we want to buy a car, all right, you have a car, they want to have a house, and we want to have this, they want to have that. Whatever we have, we cannot enjoy. The desire goes jumping from one to another. That's power of desire. And the second one is the power of action, by which we put in physical effort and mental effort. We think, we'll have this, we'll work it out, we plan it, and sometimes that also leads us nowhere. And we really get absolutely flabbergasted the way we have missed the point. So all these two powers work separately, but human beings have a capacity to go to extremes, to left or to the right. If they go too much to the right, they cause a problem to their centers, which I would say are like this in the center. Now the left and the right, and in the center you see this is, you can say, is the spinal cord. Now in this lies the center, the subtle center. Now if you use too much of this or use too much of this, it breaks. When it breaks, you lose the control, or you can say that the connection with the whole is lost, and you become on your own. That's how diseases like cancer set in. Cancer is simple thing that you go to extremes on the right side or to the left side, and it's when it is triggered also by the right or the left side, it just separates like that. And then the cells start growing on their own, which is called as malignancy. Now somehow if you can bring them back to their original position, cancer can be cured. There are so many things like that which can be corrected very easily only if you know the fundamentals, the roots on which we stand. Our civilization has grown outside like a very, very big tree, but we haven't found out our roots. That's why they're writing these days that we are on the verge of shock. This is going to happen, that is going to happen. We have to find out our roots. Now, when we depend so much on science and advancement, we have to understand that it has certain defects in it. For example, science doesn't have any humanity. Science doesn't have any consideration of love and affection. It has no art in it. It has no consideration for other human beings. Science is blind. And if you go after science to that extent that the whole nation becomes blind, then it's possibility that you might just create some thing like atom bomb, hydrogen bomb, devil sitting on our heads, you see, telling us what we have created. So to get the balance, we have to see to the roots of this tree. And the roots are within ourselves, which we have to find out. These roots are, as he has told you, these three systems that work within us. One, which is the desire power. Another, which is the thinking power, you can call it, or a mental understanding that we have about things, or mental action, and the physical action. The central one is the ascending. As Christ has said that Holy Ghost will have three capacities. One is the comforter, then comforter is the left side, then counselor is the right side, and the central path is the ascending path, is the redeemer, by which you are redeemed. Now, when one system starts working, say the right system, which works very much in the modern times with people, we are planning like mad, and all the time thinking to create something new, to create something great. In that endeavor to create something new and to create something great, what do we do is to use our right side too. Now if you see, the right side is connected to a yellow colored center, a chakra, a sukshma chakra. Now this yellow center is the one that represents the energy for all the organs of the stomach. It helps to work out your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, kidneys, and part of your intestines. But it has some very important work to do, and that important work is to convert your fat for the replacement of the gray cells in your brain. That fat is converted to make it into gray cells. Now when you use too much of your brain, all the times you start using it too much, then what happens? There's an imbalance, and you start neglecting the viscera, which is the organs of your stomach. At that time, all these things like your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, all of them go out of order. I'm just giving an example of one side working too hard. So such people might get liver troubles. The liver is responsible for absorbing the heat in the body. It absorbs all the heat that you have, and then it releases into the water which is in the blood. But when the liver goes out of order, the heat remains as it is. Then it starts spreading upward. When it goes upward, it can cause asthma and all such diseases which are due to the heat of the liver. Then, if your pancreas is also neglected, then you get a disease like diabetes. Now, diabetes is a disease very common with the people who think too much, who sit on their chairs and are planning. They get diabetes, not the villagers. Say in Indian village, they take sugar in such a way that the spoon has to stand at perpendicular. Then only they think it's tea, otherwise it's no tea. And they never get diabetes. They don't know what is diabetes is. It's only the people who are sitting on their chairs and thinking too much get diabetes. So this neglect of the pancreas creates this problem. The third one is much more dangerous. Is the spleen. The life today is so hectic and so full of tensions. Early in the morning, first of all, you read the newspaper. Of course, the newspaper always gives the most horrid news in the first page, you see. So it's a sensation. But as soon as you read that newspaper, your spleen goes into contractions. Because the spleen has a job to create red blood corpuscles for the emergencies. And such an emergency is a reason so poor spleen doesn't know what to do. After that, you're in a hurry, you just don't take your breakfast or may take it somehow, jump into your car and shouting at all the people who have jammed on the way. And then ultimately, if you reach your office somehow or other, a little late, then you had it. So all this spoils the rhythmic system of your spleen. It's the rhythmic system. It gives you the rhythm of life. And when it becomes unrhythmically active, then it goes crazy. Because our life is a little crazy, and the poor spleen also becomes crazy with it. That craziness causes the vulnerability to a very serious disease called as blood cancer. It doesn't know when to produce more blood, when to reduce it, and it just behaves in such a crazy manner that a disease like blood cancer is caused. You'll be surprised, with Sahaja Yoga, with this Kundalini awakening, many people, at least I know about 10 or 12 people, have been cured of blood cancer who were certified to be dead within 1 year's time or minimum of 1 month also. They are all nicely kicking because it's about, I think, 6-7 years back they were cured of their disease and still living all right. So such diseases can be cured only by putting your Kundalini through those centers, nourishing them and bringing them back to normal and connecting them through the central path. It passes through the last center, as we call it, the limbic area. As you see, there is a limbic area. Beyond that, it crosses over the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone on your head, and that's how you get the actualization of your baptism. It's not just something artificial that I take the child and child is crying loudly and put some oil on that and say, now you're baptized. No, there has to be the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost coming out of your head. And such a person has to have the powers of a realized soul. The powers of the realized souls are manifold. We can describe them in short, that first of all, once you get your realization, you know about yourself, about your centers. You know what's wrong with you. You know what's wrong with others, because there's another thing that happens to you, that you become collectively conscious. That means on your central nervous system, you can feel others on your fingertips. That's how you know what's wrong with them, what's wrong with you. If you know how to correct that part, you're all right. So health-wise, you become all right. Then mentally, we have seen many people who have been suffering from depressions and schizophrenia, and also many diseases. Even some cases of retardation of small children have been cured by Kundalini awakening. It's remarkable. Some people take more time, some people take very little time. It has worked out. It's fantastic the way it works out your corrections. It's like putting to the mains and you get all the energy flowing into you and you just get corrected. The third thing that happens to you, apart from collective consciousness, is that when the Kundalini crosses over this center of Agya, you become absolutely a person which has got a capacity, what we call, is of thoughtless awareness. That means you are absolutely aware. Now, if you want to think, you'll think, otherwise you won't think. You just don't get bothered about thinking. Just it's there. You see everything like a witness. You just see everything. Now say, for example, I see something beautiful like these flowers now. Somebody would say, oh, from where to get this? There's lots of thoughts. From where to get these flowers? How much should I pay for it? What should I do about it? Or else I just watch it. And when I just watch it, just witness, then what happens? The joy of that creation, of that creator, just starts flowing from my head downward, cooling me down completely. There's no thought. It's like a lake which is absolutely rippleless. That's how the mind becomes. And all that is created around it reflects completely into it without any disturbance. Such a mind you develop, and that's what I call is the mind of a realized soul, which is so peaceful. Now we talk of peace, foundation of peace, and all that. I've seen the people now in the other life of mine, the one I lead as a wife of someone. I've met many people who are supposed to be Nobel Prize winners on peace and who have founded peace foundations and things. But in the foundation, there is no peace at all. They are one of the most disturbed people I've come across. How can they emit peace to others when there's no peace within yourself? And this is your own glory, your own quality within yourself. It is just to be awakened to have that peace. That as if you go from your peripheries to your axis and you are just looking at all those things that are happening. This is the peace that you develop. Then you get the capacity to know the absolute truth. For example, you can feel it on your fingertips. Now supposing there's a gentleman just coming out of the jail and wearing these robes and things, comes to Australia. I see everybody thinks he's a big guru. How will you make out whether he's real or not? In the beginning, he may not even take money from you, but ultimately he will. I mean, that's the attitude. After all, he's come all the way here, not for just for your benevolence, but for some money-making propositions. But still, if you put your hands towards such a person, you'll feel heat in your hand. Maybe sometimes it's blistering, might. But if it's a real person, if it's a realized soul, whether dead or whether away from us, we can make it out whether that person is realized or not, if it's truthful or not. Even if you have 10 children and tie their eyes, if they are realized souls, you ask them, what's wrong with this gentleman? They'll show the same finger, all of them, meaning this is the center which is catching. So it's absolute truth, through that. And last of all, you become the joy. And joy doesn't have unhappiness and happiness. You just become joy. It cannot be described. It's to be experienced and enjoyed. As it is, when it passes through the center there in the green part, you see, we call it as void. This is a different void from what Zen talk about. But this void is where our valency is. We have 10 valencies. As you know, all matter has 8 valencies, animals have 9, and we have 10. These valencies get enlightened. So we get awakened in our own valencies, which is the innate religion within us. Such people don't commit any sins automatically. Like the saints never committed any sins, in the same way we do not, because we become so powerful. Now if you are following any religion, you are capable of committing any sin that you like. There's no bondage on you. But once this happens, you just don't do it. You just enjoy your virtues and virtues of others. It's such a beautiful life is ahead of us, which we call as the kingdom of God, where we have to enter into. These are the few things that happen, but the best that I have seen in England is that overnight people have given up drugs. Overnight. It's very surprising. Alcoholism. There was a doctor who was an alcoholic and a very learned and a good doctor we took to alcoholism, and he was just about to finish. When he came to us, he got his realization. Now he's in charge of 7 hospitals. And he's reading paper about Sahaja Yoga in Helsinki and also in New York. And then he went to Boston. And now Sahaja Yoga is taking a very sort of a official form, because when I went to Russia, I was surprised at the Russian people, really very much surprised. Never expected even 10 people to come to my program, but there were 2,000 inside the hall and 2,000 sitting outside. And they were all sitting till I was speaking to others. When I came out, they were still there. And they said, Mother, now what are we going to do? I said, all right. Tomorrow you all come here. In the morning time, I'll be here. And all of them, the 2,000 inside and 2,000 inside, all of them were sitting there waiting for me to get their realization. And such beautiful people. And the reason may be that they're not conditioned like we are. We are free to think, all right, it's all right to think about politics and all that. There's nothing to think about politics. What is there to think about? Whatever is there is there. You can see that clearly. But the way they are, I think, because they don't talk of religion. They don't talk of God. There's no conditioning. They don't say we are chosen ones and that Jews are bad or Christians are bad or Hindus are bad and they are bad. Nothing. They don't know anything about it. They're like clean slates. And it's perfectly all right. I talked to them about God, Jesus Christ, and everything. They didn't mind at all. They were very happy about it. That they said, this is the knowledge we were waiting for. And now you'll be surprised that Russia has accepted us as an independent organization. We are the only people who have got this. There are 3 doctors in Delhi, those who have got MD in Sahaja Yoga for curing epilepsy, curing asthma, and other psychosomatic diseases. Now there are 7 doctors in London who are now doing research in this. Of course, we have to now prove the existence of God, existence of this all-pervading power, existence of this power which is God's love. It exists. We should not be so desperate in life. Whatever we are seeking is just at hand. I'm so happy to be here with you all. Yesterday, I allowed them to ask some questions. They asked really very good questions, very relevant, and I think at least 90% got realization. I was very happy to see yesterday's crowd, and today I'm sure all of you are going to experience it. Your own being, your own glory, your own self, what Christ has said, that you are to be born again. It's not a certificate. It cannot be an organization. We have no organization as such. You cannot be a member of anything. You cannot pay for it. But it's just becoming. Becoming is the point. May God bless you all. I would like to have some questions from you. And then I hope we'll be able to do something about self-realization. All right.
This down.
What is the question he asked? Huh? Valency. Have you been a student of chemistry, please? The gentleman who asked me about valency? No. All right, then it's quite a big story. How to explain? You see, if you see the periodic laws of all the chemicals, you'll be amazed how they are planned out. They are divided into 8 different categories, and where there are 2 types of chemicals. One which given to others and joined, and some which take it from others and join. So that is what is the valency. For example, something like hydrogen has 1, oxygen has 2, like that. And at the end of it, the last is the 8 valencies, as they call it. So there could be 4 plus or 4 minus. In the human beings, we have 10 valencies. And these 10 valencies act. But carbon has 4 valencies. That's why carbon is very important for forming amino acids, because it can join on both the sides. It has 4. It can give 4 or take 4. It's a neutral sort of thing. And unless until you have carbon, you cannot form organic chemistry. And after that, you have to have nitrogen with it, so you form what you call amino acids. So it's not so important at this point to talk about these things. I just mentioned it that there are 10 valencies within us, meaning there are 10 dharmas, there are 10 religions within us. But if I say religion, you would jump, so I used the word valency. Is the dharma. Dharma means the one which you sustained. Like the quality of the light is to give light. In the same way, you have 10 qualities as human beings. These are the 10 commandments. You can say it's in every religion there are these 10 commandments. पंखा लगा नहीं, वो नहीं पंखा, पंखा नहीं ला, रहने दो, ये नहीं चाहिए, ये नहीं चाहिए मुझे.
If you have a damaged spine or coccyx, does that affect the brain?
It has some problem, but I see Kundalini is such a beautiful thing. She's your mother. She's your individual mother. And she has been like a tape recorder for you. She knows all about your problems. And she knows how to work it out. So though it is damaged, of course, in the beginning, a little difficult, but then Kundalini itself goes and works it out, and she builds it up, repairs it. It's so beautiful, the way she looks after. Supposing you have a liver problem, of course you'll get your realization. But then she will go down to the liver and show that, see, this is the point. You can actually see the pulsation at the liver point, just like heart. Dreams could be from 3-4 areas, from the collective subconscious, could be from the subconscious of the last lives, could be the subconscious of this life. It can be from different areas. And unless and until you are a deep person, you cannot decode it and understand it. It's all haphazard and comes. So it is a suggestion that comes to us through our subconscious area sometimes, but it can also come from the unconscious area. And when it comes from unconscious area, then it is very suggestive what is to be done. Jung has done a lot of work on that, and he's really reached quite a great explanation on this point of dreams. But better than dreams or anything else which is rather vague, and you have to go to a psychiatrist to find out, and maybe he might be also wrong. But here it is on your fingertips, you can feel everything. So what's the need to know through the dreams?
When the Kundalini rises, there are spiritual effects. Does this spill over into physical effects as well?
Yes, there are. There are many physical effects. You can see that the pupils dilate and your eyes start sparkling. Then also you start feeling the cool breeze on your fingertips. You can feel the cool breeze coming out of your head. And I've seen people who got realization. When I met them after 1 year, I couldn't recognize them because they had suddenly become very young, about 10 years younger than what they were. And the face shines and the skin becomes very nice. So also because health improves and the temperament improves, person becomes very sweet, kind, compassionate and dynamic. And sometimes you are amazed at yourself, and others are very much amazed too, the way you are changed.
She
Yes, it is. Please be seated. I'll answer that question to you. Bhakti Yoga means devotion to God. It's very important. But if you see Gita, it was written by Shri Krishna, who was very intelligent and knew that human beings are little not up to the point. So he tried to say things in a way where we have to read between the lines. For bhakti, he said that if you give me flowers and water, pushpam phalam toyam, and also fruits I'll accept. But when it comes to bhakti, he said it should be ananya. There's a very important word, ananya, means when there is not the other. That means when you become one with me. That means when you are realized soul. That's what is the bhakti. Bhakti without the connection is like telephoning God without the connection. It's as simple as that.
It says, but surely bhakti means union through love.
No, but you see, the love that is true love, what we say is imagination without connection, is just imagination, is not the truth. Unless and until you have got your realization, your bhakti is just imagination. Anything else, please?
If a person has been practicing yoga and starts experiencing a lot of negative emotions, rage and anger, what part of the kundalini might, what part of the chakra might
If a person's been practicing yoga and experiences a lot of negative emotion, like anger,
Very
what
much.
part of the subtle system is affected?
You see, the so-called yoga is just the right side activity of prana. Actually, Patanjali started Ha-Tha yoga. Ha means Ha is the sun, Tha is the moon. So both the things. And if you read the whole Patanjali, is so big as that. See, the Patanjali Yoga Shastra is so big. He's dealt with, first of all, the cleansing of the right side and then of the left side. And then he has talked of all these things that I'm telling you about thoughtless awareness and doubtless awareness. That is called as Nirvichar Samadhi, and then it is called as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. All that he's talked throughout, Rutambara Pratna, he's called it to the all-pervading power. But some people who must have been to some guru somewhere and must have had the first V part of it, so they came down and have started teaching people these yogas of exercise and acrobats. This is all right-sided because it's all physical. We are not only physical beings. As a result of that, what happens? Such people dry out. Right side dries you, like the sun dries you. You dry out. I mean, you say it's true. I mean, the other day I was telling you that if you have to reach any Hatha yogi, better carry a barge pole with you because can be any time they might jump at you. They are good at curses, they are good at anger. So, that's not yoga. In yoga, you are completely integrated. Only your liver gets bad, and sometimes they get very bad, massive heart attacks also. So this is like indiscriminate use of something, like you take all the medicines from the medical medicine box without knowing what is to be done. Of course, we also use certain physical things, like supposing, as you asked me, that if there's any problem in the spinal cord, see, we might tell you that you do a particular type of an asana. But we must know it scientifically what is to be done. Unless and until the kundalini rises, how are we to know where is the obstruction? Just before that, what's the use of doing all these things? You might be having a problem here, and you might be doing the exercise of your stomach. What's the use? So it is very scientific. You must know what is to be done where. We do use, very rarely, but we do use it. But it is precise. It's a science. what she's talking about.
She says Hatha Yoga is a science too.
No, it is if you know the whole of it, not halfway. You see, a half-baked doctor is more dangerous than an ordinary person, and that's what they are. So, madam, if you care for your benevolence, you have some patience and take your realization, then you'll understand how wrong it is, all right? Just certifying like that is not proper. You must first go into it and find out what is what, and then you can say something about something very definitely. It's a science, no doubt, but how many are equipped? They haven't even read the whole of Patanjali. None of them. It's a business. It's best is go jogging instead. Don't have to pay at least. That's also sometimes not good, too much of it. You have to be in moderation in everything. Let's see.
How do you see the role of realization in Sahaja Yoga protecting the environment?
Oh, very much, very much. As it cleanses you, it cleanses also the atmosphere. There's a doctor, we have Dr. Hamid from Austria who has tried Sahaja Yoga vibrations on the trees which are afflicted by acid rain, and they were surprised that 60% of those trees which were, most of them which were lower than the 60 years of age have survived and thriving. Because this clears the whole thing. That's the vital energy which neutralizes environmental problems, absolutely. It helps agriculture very much. You won't believe if I tell you it's so fantastic. Because understand that this is the energy from where we get everything. This energy thinks, as I told you, coordinates, organizes everything, and above all it loves. It solves all the problems. I think human problems will be solved on 3 levels, I should say. First of all, that human beings get transformed. So human beings improve. Then, because of collective consciousness, they relate to each other very well. We are traveling like criminals with our passports all over, you see, while this world is made one by God. And all this division by races, by religions, by all kinds of nationalities, everything disappears. Second level is, and the third level, the atmosphere. The whole atmosphere improves, the society improves, the political atmosphere will improve. Is also the natural atmosphere will improve because we become so sensible and wise and we don't go to extremes of producing plastics. We get satisfied. There's no need to produce so much of plastics. But it is so because, say about when I was young, we didn't need so many tumblers in the house. But somehow now we want to have disposal ones. So once you start with disposal ones, there's no end to it. And you can't dispose them ultimately. That's what they are. One good tumbler could be cleaned out for one person and can be used for various things. But now we have so many things, and then another modern problem is of creating new fashions every day. So you go to any house and you find piles and piles of clothes from 19 such and such to 19 such and such. And every year they're changing. So all these nonsensical ideas go, and you really become such a wise person. You know what to use, how much to use, how to have a balance in life. We lead a very imbalanced life in modern times. and we are playing into the hands of entrepreneur. Then we play into the hands of the people who produce these things like seeds, which are they cannot be reproduced, and these seeds are specially made as hybrid they are. But if you have even ordinary seeds vibrated, they give much more yield than the non-hybrid. Even the animals, we try to do all kinds of things with them. And I must say that the animals like this are real bizarre, horrible people. They don't understand anything. They can walk on the street, get killed, or they have no brains. And if you take milk from such animals, we also become little pulpy there. We have experimented in India that animals who have been hybrid type are something schizophrenic of that kind, while animals which are natural understand. Even the chickens, they have found out the same thing. So all this hybrid feeding our body can create a lot of problems for us in our brains. So though we are more worried about the environment, but within ourselves we are creating lots of problems already. To get to natural food is impossible because as it is, you see, the natural seeds and the natural things are not capable of reproduction. But if you give them vibrations, they produce much more. That's how you solve those problems. But first we must believe in ourselves that we can do all that. If we can go onto the moon, why can't we go to our spirit?
Excuse me, Mother, can you send absent vibrations to somebody, give them self-realization without them being in front of you?
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. You see, it's like the subtlest of the ether, supposing. Subtlest of the ether. Now, through the ether, you can see anything. You see, if you put on the television, you can see anything that's from India or from England. In the same way, it's a subtle thing. But this ether is something so wonderful that it not only that it transmits your ideas, not only, but it acts. Like you can see that a television, you supposing use a television. Now you just see the image, but the image does not come out and act on you. But here, this goes and acts. That's why they say that Kali Yuga is over. The worst times of Kali Yuga means the bad days are over now. Kruta Yuga has started when this all-pervading power is working it out. But the problem is how many are going to get to it. It said only 144,000 people. We already have it. In the Bible. It's quite, I hope they don't mean exactly that. That's like a real seeker. That's what we are going to do now. That's like a real seeker. That's the best question I was waiting for. All right? So we are all ready for it, isn't it? Can you put it up, please, for me? I'm sorry, you have to take out your shoes to touch the Mother Earth. I think I'll sit down and stand up. You stand up. Yes, please. You can take out your shoes also, I think. First of all, of course, as I told you, it acts spontaneously. But I will tell you this because you should know later on how to raise your Kundalini again and again, which is a very, very simple thing. At the very outset, there are two conditions, of course. The first condition is that you have to be very self-confident about yourself, that you all can get your realization and forget your past. There's nothing like sin at this moment, nothing like mistakes at this moment. Whatever has happened, is finished. So first of all, you must forgive yourself completely. That's first condition. Then the second condition, that you have to forgive everybody else at this moment. Not to remember who has tortured you or troubled you. It's nothing difficult, it's a myth. It's a myth that you don't forgive or you forgive. What do you do? Nothing. But if you don't forgive, then you play into wrong hands. So I would request you that you just say that I forgive everyone and I forgive myself. After all, we are human beings, I say. We are not God. So human beings will create mistakes and will do something wrong, isn't it? There's nothing wrong in it. And the divine power has such powers of forgiveness. It's the ocean of forgiveness. So also not to feel guilty at all. This idea of sin and all that, I don't know from where it has come into the heads of people. So just forget about it, and I'm sure it will work out. Because today I can feel it. It's on this center, you can feel it. It's too much catching. So people are just feeling guilty that how can I get realization? You are going to get it. Have confidence. That's the promise. All right? Now he's going to show you how we are going to work it out. Both the feet have to be away from each other. As I told you, left and right side are two energies, so away from each other. Now, the left hand has to be towards me like this, in a comfortable way, whichever you want. You can put it on your lap or you can have it like this, because it's the desire to get self-realization. And the right hand has to be put on different centers, as I tell you. First on the heart, because in the heart is the reflection of God Almighty as the Spirit in the heart. And then we have to go to another center on the left-hand side. We work only on left-hand side. We put our right hand in the upper portion of our abdomen. This is the center of your mastery. You have to become master of yourself. This is created by all the great masters, and we have to just awaken it. Then you go down to the lower portion of your abdomen, on the left-hand side, press it hard. This is the center of pure knowledge. This pure knowledge acts through your central nervous system. Then we go up again into the upper portion of our abdomen, on the center of the Guru principle, the mastery, and then again we go to the heart, where we are the spirit. Then we take our right hand in the corner of our neck and our head, here, and turn our head towards the right, like this. This center is the one I'm telling you is today very much catching, which is that people feel guilty. So, this center is a very dangerous one. If it catches on the left-hand side, one develops horrible things like angina and also spondylitis. So better is to turn your head right, towards the right, fully. Now, you have to stretch your hand, not stretch your hand, but put your hand across like this on your forehead. Hold your forehead and put it down as much as you can. This is the center for forgiving others. I'll tell you later on when you close your eyes in full way. Now take back this hand on the back side of your head, and push back your head completely, resting on that hand. And here now is the center where you have to ask for forgiveness from the divine without counting your mistakes, without counting the people whom you have hurt or anything. So just without feeling any such guilt, you have to just ask for forgiveness. Now stretch your hand, right hand, fully. And the center of your palm has to be put exactly on the spot where it was a soft bone in your childhood. Press it hard, put down your head. Now here, push back your fingers as back as possible and put a pressure on your scalp. Now you have to move the scalp very slowly, clockwise. Clockwise, very slowly, 7 times, just like that. Done. That's all we have to do. But now please take out your spectacles and close your eyes until I tell you don't open your eyes. It might help your eyesight also. Everyone should do it and you will see the results. It will be good. So, now we close our eyes. Put both the feet apart. Don't worry about your thoughts. Let them come. They'll all disappear after some time. Put your left hand towards me. Put your right hand on your heart. Now, here lies the spirit. So, like a computer, you have to ask me a question. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question in your heart 3 times, please. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question. Now, if you are the spirit, you are your own guide, because in the light of spirit, you know your way, you become a master. So now, take down your right hand on the left hand side of your abdomen, the upper part, press it hard. Here, you ask another question to me. You can call me Mother or Shri Mataji, whatever you like. Mother, am I my own master? Ask this question 3 times. Now, take down your hand on the left hand side of your abdomen in the lower region and press it hard. Here I have to say that I respect your freedom, as you have to have the ultimate freedom. I cannot force on you the pure knowledge. So please ask 6 times in your heart, Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Now, it is 6 times because this center has got 6 petals. As soon as you say that, the Kundalini starts moving upward. So we have to now nourish the upper centers with our self-confidence. So now take your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen, press it on the left hand side, and with full confidence you say to open this center, Mother, I am my own master. Just say that 10 times. It has got 10 petals. Mother, I am my own master. The greatest truth about you is that you are the spirit. You are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not these emotions, you are not this ego, but you are pure spirit. So now, raise your right hand on your heart, press it and say it with full confidence, the greatest truth about yourself, 12 times, Mother, I am the Spirit. The all-pervading power is the ocean of bliss and of peace. It is the ocean of knowledge and joy. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. So whatever mistakes you might have committed can be easily dissolved by this power of forgiveness. So please forgive yourself, and now raise your hand, right hand, in the corner of your neck and your shoulder, and turn your head towards the right side. Here, with full confidence you have to say, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please say it 16 times. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Now it is a myth whether you forgive others or you don't forgive. But if you don't forgive, you play into the wrong hands. So now raise your hand to your forehead across and put down your forehead on that hand. Bend it down as much as you can. Here you have to say, without thinking about it, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please don't count people whom you have to forgive, but just say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Just say, it's not difficult, it's just a myth. Say it from your heart. Mother, I forgive everyone, from your heart, not how many times. Now, take back this right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head on that hand as far as possible. Now here you have to say, without feeling guilty again, from your heart, Mother, or you can say the divine power, if I have done any mistakes, please forgive me. This is the time you don't have to count your mistakes. Just for your own satisfaction, you are saying that from your heart. If I have done any mistakes knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. This forgiveness you are asking from the divine power, which knows everything about you. Now, spread your hand fully and the palm, stretch it. And put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a soft bone in your childhood. Now press it hard and push back your fingers. Now move it 7 times. By putting down your head, you'll do it better. Clockwise. Here again, I cannot trespass your freedom. I cannot force self-realization on you. You have to ask for it. So 7 times please say, Mother, give me my self-realization. Push back your fingers, please push back your fingers. Please push them back. Now take down your hands, please. Open your eyes. Both hands like this. Right hand towards me, like this. And bend your head. And with the left hand, see if there's a cool breeze coming out of your fontanelle bone area. You have to certify yourself. Now don't start doubting because, you see, it is coming out of your head. Just try to see here if there is a cool breeze coming out of your head. Maybe wee bit. Some people get it here, some people get it closer. So, but it should not be touching the head, it should be above the head. Just try to see if there's a cool breeze emitting out of your heads. Now, please put your left hand towards me. Again bend your head and see for yourself to be seen. Just see if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Now, put your right hand again, last, and again see, put your left hand, bend your head. Please see clearly if there's a cool breeze coming out of your head. Could be very far away, could be closer. Could be hot, doesn't matter. The heat has to come out. Doesn't matter if there's heat. Now, you have to put up both your hands in the air like that. And ask a question, push back your head and ask a question. Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost? Mother, is this the all-pervading power of God's love? Ask this question thrice. Ask this question. All right, bring it down now. Now watch me without thinking. You can do that. You can watch me without thinking. Now those who have felt the cool breeze out of their fontanelle bone area or on their fingertips, please raise both your hands. It's all right, don't you worry, we'll see you, all right? That's like free mental. May God bless you. Now you felt it. It's beyond mind. So now when you go home, you are not to discuss it, talk about it. It cannot be discussed. But you have to grow, and we have a center where you can come. Just you have to spare some time by which you will grow, and they will tell you all about it. In one lecture, you can understand, such a big knowledge cannot be explained. But if you come, they will tell you all about it, and you are going to enjoy yourself, enjoy them, and enjoy the whole life. That's what is the aim of God's creation, that He wants you to enter into His kingdom and enjoy yourself and not to suffer. All right, so may God bless you. I would like to shake hands with people, and those who haven't got it can come this side and work it out on them.